Okay, we're back. This is a conversation in jazz, and we're talking to George V. Johnson, my brother.
We're back again.
Yes, sir, man. Good stuff on that first half, man. I learned a lot. I think we learned a lot. The community learned a lot. So thank you. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying, James Moody. That's one. I wanted to give you an opportunity to share with some of these names that you've put out how you met them, or what is your connection with them? James Moody.
James Moody. I was hanging out with Barry Harris. I was at the Jazz Culture Theater. He had the spot called the Jazz Culture Theater.
Is that where he does his piano thing?
He used to.
Okay.
But it closed several years later.
Okay.
So him and Jim Harrison.
Okay.
You know, Jim Harrison was he was the promoter. He was one of the biggest black promoters in New York. Mm-hmm. He was the promoter for the Jazzmobile. Mm-hmm. He was part of the group that started that.
Okay.
With Jimmy Heath and all them. So they said George, and so they knew I had this tape. Next in line tape.
Yeah, next in line.
They said, George, they're doing a tribute to Eddie Jefferson up at Carnegie Hall, and John Hendricks is the coordinator. Go up there and say we sent you, and let him hear that tape. So I went up to Carnegie Hall. I went up there about, because he said he's up there rehearsing about 12 o'clock. So I went up there, and I knocked on the door, and I asked for John, and John came down. And I said, my name is George Johnson. I was a very close friend of Eddie Jefferson, and Bill Harrison, and Barry said for me to come here and let you hear this tape. He took the tape and went upstairs and came back down, all excited, said, wow, we're gonna let you sing. We're gonna play that tape over the loudspeaker in Carnegie Hall and let everybody hear it. On the bill was the Manhattan Transfers, mm-hmm. Hendrix and Friends. What's the great singer? Bob McFerrin was singing with him then. Plus Dizzy, and it was Harold Mayburn, Rufus Reed, and Eddie Gladden on drums with Moody, and Richie Cole, and this comedian called the Professor and the Manhattan Transfers. So the whole concert was really about the Manhattan Transfers, because they had this new song out. Do-wah, coo-coo kitty, talking about the boys from New York City. So John came down, said, man, we love it. We're gonna play it over the PA system, the Carnegie Hall. Be back up here at 6 o'clock. I left there, and I called my mother, long distance, Collect. I said, Mom, I'm gonna sing at Carnegie Hall. I'm gonna sing at Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
She said, yeah? She said, what do you need? Because I was still riding the subway.
She didn't know that?
No, okay. I didn't tell nobody.
Yeah.
So she sent me $100 Western Union. I went to the Western Union, got the money. I went on St. Mark's Place. There's a place called Andy's Cheapies. It's a thrift store. I went in there and got a white tuck jacket, a pair of black gabardine slacks. I got a white shirt with a red sparkle tie.
Yeah.
And some black dancing shoes. Went to Penn Station. I went to the bathroom. I changed clothes. I went back up to the Carnegie Hall, and I knocked on the door, and John came down. He said, George, we can't let you sing.
Wow.
I said, well, why not? He said, because there's nobody to play with you. I said, yes, it is, because Harold Mayburn and those cats played, and Richie Cole played with Eddie Jefferson. And so I sang with Eddie. And, I know all this material. He said, well, no problem, I'm going. He said, I'll be right back. He came back downstairs, and he said, George, I'm sorry, man, but we can't let you sing. And by this time, man, I was almost in tears.
Wow.
I was actually in tears, because Eddie was my best friend.
Yeah.
I felt that I was just as close to him. Other than James Moody, I was probably close to him, anybody up there. And so he said, well, come on upstairs. So he took me upstairs, and up in the dressing room, it was James Moody. It was Dizzy.
Who?
Dizzy Gillespie. All of them were there. And he introduced me to them. And so I stood there, and I met Moody and Dizzy and all of them, and Harold Mayburn was there. We were real close, and so all of a sudden, John walked over to me with these two big, I don't know, bodyguards. I don't know who they were. He said, George, you got to leave.
He said, you got to leave?
You got to leave right now. So On my way out the door, James Moody grabbed me by the arms and said, George, be at Sweet Basil's at 10 o'clock. But he had a double gig. So when I went to Sweet Basil's, he was playing with his quartet. So he said, be at Sweet Basil's 10 o'clock.
Now, did he know your...
He heard the tape.
Okay.
And he probably heard about my reputation.
Okay.
Because my reputation was preceding me.
Okay.
Because cats were coming down to the pig for says this young cat singing this shit.
Yeah.
So he said, be at Sweet Basil's at 10 o'clock. So I get there at 10 o'clock. I had my outfit on. Yeah. I'm clean as a dog, clean as a whistle. And all of them were there. Manhattan Transfers, Bob McFerrin, Dizzy, Richie Cole, all those cats were there. And Moody said, ladies and gentlemen, this next young man I'm going to introduce you, he's the protege of the great Eddie Jefferson.
Wow.
He's a protege, and he's next on line. We're going to bring up George Johnson. And I went up there, man, and wore those motherfuckers out. I sang A Night in Tunisia, Dizzy played. I got the tapes.
Yeah.
Dizzy played. Then I did a whole set. I did Now's the Time. It was like playing with Bird.
Yeah.
I did, I said Night in Tunisia. I did Little Suede Shoes. And a couple other songs, Billy's Bounce.
Star Eyes?
Star Eyes, Billy's Bounce, and a couple other bebop songs, and turned the club out. So at the end of the night, James Moody gave me $200.
Wow.
I never slept on the subway again. And he said to me, he said, George, he said, they were not going to play that tape on the PA system. Because if they played that tape on the PA system, you would have stole the show.
Wow.
The show wasn't about... So, and the next day, the newspapers ate it up. They said it wasn't about Eddie Jefferson, it was about the Manhattan Transfers. So that just goes to show you how this business is. So Moody told me this story about this guy that was trying to win the Irish sweepstakes. It was $1 million, and you get a trip around the world. He kept playing, he kept playing, he kept playing. He was trying to win that $1 million, and finally he won it. He got on the boat got in the middle of the ocean, and it sank. So that was the moral of the story.
Yeah.
It related to that.
Yeah.
He called me up. We talked to each other on the phone because Moody lived in Newark.
Yeah.
And so by this time, I had gotten, I was getting a room here and a room there, and I got another room there. Then I was staying with somebody for a month here. Then I ended up getting an apartment on St. Mark's, right across on St. Mark's and 3rd. And so, it was a very interesting, New York. And then I was hanging out at all the clubs, and right down the street, Al Haig, who played with Charlie Parker on a couple of those songs, he was playing at this hotel, and I went in there and said, my name is George Johnson, Washington, D.C. I come up with John Malachi, and I sing with Moody every now and then. He said, you want to sing a song? Next thing you know, I did My Little Suede Shoes. I was singing with everybody.
Wow.
It was nobody. My reputation got around, and cats were looking out for me. I was probably the hottest singer in New York at that time. Only other singer at that time was Andy Bay and Leon Thomas. Kurt he was probably in elementary school. Giacomo Gates wasn't in New York. Wasn't none of them in New York.
Yeah.
I was singing with James Moody.
You would,
Carnegie Hall, the festivals,
yeah.
every festival, major clubs, everything.
So did you finally get to sing in Carnegie Hall?
Yes, with James Moody.
Oh, wow. So
the Cool Jazz Festival.
Wow.
Moody brought me up there about a year or two later.
Wow. So you got there anyway.
Cool Festival, the South Sea Jazz Festival, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, Philly. Moody was like a sweetheart, and it felt so good when you get a call from James Moody.
No doubt.
Then
let's talk about Lou Donaldson.
Oh, Lou. Lou, I told you how I met him in '74. And he did.
Y'all also remain friends.
He was the first person I hit with in New York. And so whenever Lou Donaldson would be playing, I'd pop in, no matter where it was. No matter what club I go to, the major musician horn players be playing, and I'd be the one that they picked to come up and sing. It'd be 100 musicians in there. So you had respect from the musicians when cats loved me because I was new on the scene.
Yeah.
Eddie had just died. So it was like being in heaven, man.
You were actually next in line.
And then I got the job on the railroad.
Wow.
For New Jersey Transit.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that too. That's
yeah.
Ben.
One of my students, George Johnson, come up from Washington, D.C. Next in line.
Your Majesty, George V. Johnson, outstanding specialist and vocalist, a true student of the Eddie Jefferson School of Bop.
George Johnson, greatest scat singer in the country. Do one more before you go, George. Just do a little suede shoes. Okay, little suede shoes.
Well, Dr. Golson, you know, you're still out there and you're still performing. As a matter of fact, you were just in Washington, D.C. last weekend, and you had a vocalist perform with you. And tell us what you're doing now and what can we expect?
And I might not have been convinced before, but I'm convinced now. This guy carries his groove around with him. I don't know if he carries it in his pocket or he's got a little suitcase. Comes with a groove, because when he came up on that stage, we shifted gears, boy, I'm telling you. And he was getting ready to take it out, and I said, nope. It was rocking, and he had the people. He came back the second night, and I was going to have him come up and sing one song, the set. And I said, come up for the second set, and he did the same thing again.
Now, we're talking about...
You ever heard of George Johnson?
Yes, I have. And as a matter of fact, I play some of his music, and I understand that he also performed and is on a few of Pharoah Sanders' LPs as well.
I met him. Somewhere in Europe. I'd heard about him, but, you know, you hear about people and you don't meet them right away. Mm-hmm. And that's when I came. Yeah, this guy's on top of it. You know, he scats, and he writes original lyrics for some of these things, and he writes lyrics to songs, too. And that scatting is becoming almost a lost art. You know, King Pleasure's gone, Eddie Jefferson is gone.
Yes.
Other people that do it, but they don't really. It's like they're circling the fort, but they don't go in.
Yes.
George goes in, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Makes a difference.
Think about it.
That's why I'm so happy to be here playing. Because of what you did. Wouldn't it be great if you could take moments like this, box it up, freeze it, take it home and put it in the refrigerator, pull it out when you feel like it. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Well, we can't do that, so we get it when we can. You know, all these years of playing, every now and then during a performance, one of our colleagues will come by. And if we're so inclined, sometimes we ask that person to come on up and sing or play a number with us. We have such a colleague with us tonight. And it turns out that wherever he goes, whatever he does, he's always got his instrument with him. Well, what is his instrument? His voice. He is a part of the art form that's becoming somewhat lost because of the hip hoppers pushing him out slowly and heavy metal and stuff. He is what's known as a jazz scatter. His voice is his instrument, and you're going to hear him. Now, he's a jazz man, but his name is unlikely. You would never think because of that name that he's a jazz personality. Now listen to this name. George, V as in victory, Johnson. Come on up, George V. Johnson. Now, if you don't know anything about George, George has been around for a while. Performed with celebrities like Dizzy Gillespie, James Moody, Lionel Hampton, Benny Golson. You did that last one? Yeah, Lou Donaldson. Lou Donaldson, yeah. As a matter of fact, right here a few weeks ago, he came up and sat in. Pharoah Sanders too, yeah. Oh my God. And a lot of the lyrics, you hear some of these jazz tunes, you might not be aware of it, but George wrote many of those lyrics. This guy right here. So he's iconic in his own right. Yeah. Why not? You got the nerve to ask for some money? why don't you do that shoe song? What's the name of that song?
My Little Suede Shoes.
Oh, My Little Suede.
Charlie Parker.
Charlie Parker, yeah, that's got a groove to it. Yeah, kick it off.
That pretty little girl today, she only lived and had to walk away. Although we didn't give a chance to speak, I knew what day to be the time. I used to see her in the streets, I walked with her and baby. All the conversations that would speak her, she looked good to everyone she knew. I tried to tell her that I love the way she looked, but I could never get the chance. I only wish that we could someday be together, maybe start a sweet romance. I'm so different to little girl today. You can't believe it, and lots to say. Now if we only get the chance to speak, I'd like that girl at the corner. It was a beautiful day in September. That was when she gets out the window. But all of a sudden as I looked into the corner, I could see her walking down the street. Fine, she was pretty. I ran to the corner to see my money with me. I'm cool and fine, she was sweet. I broke the check to the bus. And when I saw her, I was so good, maybe she would be gone. And we got to the other side. Yeah. But meanwhile, the game before the daylight. Oh yes, it had its way to do. I just want to see a woman trying to get close and feel that I'm feeling. I'm so excited, so excited, yes, I feel it's really driving me crazy. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Another young man here in the house who is a member of the Jazz Legacy Ensemble, and we'd like to bring him up at this point. He's heir apparent as designated by Mr. Eddie Jefferson, and speaking none other than George V. Johnson. George V. Come on up, George. Many of you may be aware of George when he used to be with James Moody. And he's a very talented young vocalist, very erudite, looking sartorially splendiferous. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to this young man here.
Lounge. Wow, this is the spot where Eddie Jefferson was murdered, May 9th, 1979. He was coming out the side entrance over here by the alley where the trucks are parked. And he was shot down right out front of here. So I'm going inside for the first time in a long time. I came here years ago with Roy Brooks and Artistic Church.